Hi, my name is Carolyn Shadrack, and welcome to day 3 of 18 Days of Happiness, based on Karl's book, 18 Rules of Happiness. So here we are on day 3 of happiness hacks, and today's hack is to say yes more. How can we say yes more? So it's interesting, in this book, if you actually get the book, as I say, this is based on Karl's book, 18 Rules of Happiness. He talks about going with the flow, and how if you go with the flow, it's much easier and people are much happier if they kind of go with the flow as opposed to swimming against the tide, which is true, right? You can all imagine that, like swimming against the tide is hard. Going with the flow, you just kind of glow along, you don't have to do anything and you just go. But I'm not sure if I'm completely comfortable with that position, because sometimes going with the flow means that you can overlook some things which are not completely in line with your integrity, right? In line with your values. You know, I think about sometimes when you have conversations with people and they bring up something and you're thinking to yourself, I'm not really sure about that, but then you don't say anything because it's easier not to say anything and go with the flow, right? So I'm not completely sure about going with the flow in terms of how he's interpreted it, or actually saying yes, to say yes more. But what I would say is to say yes more to adventures, right? How can you say more to the things that you'd normally say, oh, I don't know if I can do it because, I'm not sure if I'm good enough, or I don't really know if I can go to that party because I feel like I'm out of my element, and, all of those kind of excuses that we give ourselves. How can you say yes more to those things? Because when you say no, you slam the door basically to all the opportunity that could come from those things, some connections, and who knows what to come. But when you say no, nothing happens. Recently, I got invited to a mastermind by one of the internet gurus that I work with. Like, one of my other things is that I do is internet marketing. And in fact, that's how I actually got into coaching, because with internet marketing, you have to do a lot of actually soul searching to actually make it work. Like, people struggle because you have to kind of get out of your comfort zone, and so and I saw a lot of people kind of in their way, and that's actually one of the reasons why I became a coach. So I got invited to this mastermind by this guy who has multi-million-dollar company. I think actually his company has generated something like $500 million in business for the people who do business with using his products. And so I got invited to this mastermind. I think it was, and I'm not really sure how it happens actually. I guess it must be something that I bought. It was some sort of bonus or something. So I've been to one of his live events before. The live events are like, it's like hundreds, I think it was like 400 people or something that were there, and it was an amazing crowd. It was an amazing experience because he really attracts some incredible people. But this mastermind it's like a closed door event. It's 30 people. It's gonna be very intimate. Is what the invitation said. So I got the invitation and immediately thought, oh my God, that's amazing. This is like a huge opportunity. And my next thought was, I don't have $1 million company. Like, what am I going to talk about? And so, I could have said, no, I don't think so, because, it's just little me. I've got nothing to talk about. But I decided I'm going to say yes, I'm going to go. And I don't have a big company, but, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what will come of it, but if I don't go, then nothing's going to happen. So I said yes, and it's coming up in a couple of weeks. And even though, I have all these kind of doubts, it's not I'm perfect, I have these doubts about things. I'm going to go, and I'll just see what happens. So, so today's hack is, how can you say yes more to more adventures? That's how I'd interpret it. Another way that I was thinking about it is that me and my husband kind of laugh about how different our two kids are. Our first older kid is very cautious about everything. She goes through life very kind of gingerly, whereas the other one kind of throws herself into things. And we just know that it's actually more about the way that we nurture them. Well, at least, no, we don't know that. What we know is a lot of it is about how we nurture them. And of course, they have their personalities too. So, like, I just think about when we went ice skating with them a couple of years ago. The older one, who'd actually done ice skating for a couple of years before that, was still on the sides, very gingerly, cautiously, kind of going out from the edge. The younger one, who was the first year going out, she just literally threw herself into the middle of the ice cream, and she fell down, she got up, she fell down, and she was fine. She was absolutely fine. She didn't want us to actually help her at all. But, so how can you throw yourself into life? How can you start to say yes more to those things that might make you feel uncomfortable, but actually might help you grow in the direction you want to go? So that is our happiness hack number 3. Say yes more. And I'm Karl Shadrach. Thanks for joining me here, and I hope to see you next time. Oh, so you can find more on mycreativelifesecrets.com. Hope to see you there. And thanks for joining me.